Hi, today we're going to talk about the cost of brewing a 5-gallon or 19-liter batch of beer. We're going to look at some of the options and we're going to share some ways that you can maybe lower those prices if you need to or if you simply want to.
Let's start with what I'm going to call beer math. So typically these batches are going to be 5 gallons or approximately 19 liters of beer. That will give us 640 ounces. So it's 128 ounces in a gallon times 5 equals 640. And then we're going to divide that by 12 ounces. And that's going to give us 53.3 12-ounce bottles or cans of beer. If you're in Europe, it's a little bit different. Bottles are either 330 mLs or 500 mLs. So if we bounce that back to imperial or ounces, that would be 11.2 ounces or 16.9. So you can see you'll have, if you're using metric or using those size cans, you'll either have 57.14 or 37.86. For today's math, I'm going to be using the 12 ounce. Today I'm going to be using morebeer.com, and the reason for that is it's easily accessible. They ship to the United States, they ship internationally, they have a nice selection. Now this is not sponsored content, however there may be an affiliate link or a coupon code listed down below for you. I'm going to start with the flash brewing kits. And the reason for that is they're new, and I love new things, and I think if you're new to homebrewing, they're a great way to get into homebrewing. And if you haven't been homebrewing for a while because you're out of time or your work's too busy or you're caregiving or have kids, this is a great way to get back into it because the contact time for this kit, it's all new technology, is very low, as you can see by their YouTube video. It's a very quick process, and we're going to be posting one of those videos shortly. But if you look at these kits, you can see the price range is $39.99 to $54.99, or actually $64. There's a new one, $64.99. They're always adding new ones. So that is going to give you a cost per beer of 75 cents on the low end. And then let me do this, 65 divided by 53, 122 on the high end. Now let's take a look at a different beer kit. All right, these are extract kits. So they're going to be DME, which is dry malt extract, or LME. So let's take a look at those first. Those range from $24.99 to $63.99. So we're going to say 25 or 64. Now what you need to realize with this is you will need to purchase your yeast. So that means you're going to be at 47 cents per 12 ounce or $1.22. So this is US numbers. But like I said, you need to add, with these kits, you need to add the yeast. With the flash brewing, the yeast is included, and that is because of science, because those kits are new technology. All right, so as you can see here, yeast is going to cost you anywhere from $3.39 a packet all the way up to $15.99 for White Labs. So you'll have to add that into the cost. All right, so if we take a look at 33 or 339 divided by 53, that's 6 cents. Add 6 cents to your beer, whereas if you're going to purchase White Labs, you're going to be adding 30 cents to each of your beers. Okay. This time we're going to take a look at all grain. Now for these kits as well, you're going to need to purchase the yeast, which is great because you get to pick which yeast you would prefer. All these kits will give you 5 gallons of finished beer, as well as all the ones that we've talked about previous. So you can see here the kit price is anywhere from $24.99 all the way up to $52.99. All right, $52.99 looks like the highest priced kit. Okay, so at that, with those numbers, your $25, I'm just going to round up, divided by 53, that will be 47 cents a beer. Or on the high end, the $52.99, so we'll take 53, that'll be $1. That's pretty easy math. $1 a beer, plus, of course, your yeast. And you get to pick. You can use something inexpensive if you'd like a dry yeast is usually less expensive, or you can use something more expensive like a liquid yeast. All right. Now the next thing you can do is you can actually, if you're blessed like we are, and you have a homebrew shop. This is the homebrew shop that's local to us, True Brew. They're located in Berlin, Wisconsin, and like most homebrew shops, they have a wonderful grain room, and grain rooms are awesome because you can buy by the ounce. Now, this would be really difficult to cost out a batch of beer because I don't know if you purchased a domestic two-row or something more bougie like a Golden Promise or Maris Otter, or if you even found a craft maltster in the grain room. And those are typically a little bit more expensive, but I think they're worth it because you're going to find completely different flavor profiles. I can give you an example, though, using one of the brews that we did recently. Now, again, this is not sponsored content by Gambrinus, but that IPA malt, you can see if we would have purchased it from the homebrew grain room, it would have been $2.75 a pound. 12 pounds at $2.75 is $33, plus approximately $4 in hops and $14 in yeast. That's $51 for this batch, divided by 53 bottles is 96 cents per beer. Not too bad. Let's take a look at buying bulk, which is my tip number 1 for saving money when you're homebrewing. We purchased a 55-pound bag or 25-kilogram bag of this IPA malt, and look at the difference in the cost. It takes those beers down to 65 cents a beer because the grain went from $2.75 down to $1.36. Now, a grain room adds more cost to the shop owner. They're supplying you with bags, twist ties, markers, a scale, a grain mill. All those things add to the cost. Excuse me. And it's taken up a pretty big area in their shop. So that's why the cost is a little bit more, but the benefit of that is you can buy as much as you want or as little as you want.
All right, so my next tip, which would be my third tip, is to use or reuse your yeast. And you can do it, it's so simple. All you need is a ball jar, canning jar. Usually the lids are 2 pieces. These are 2 different colors, don't worry about it. Clean and sanitized. At the end of your fermentation, just you rack your beer off into your keg or bottles or bottling bucket, whatever you're doing, and then just scoop out. We use a clean and sanitized soup ladle, just 1 or 2 scoops, and then close it up and stick it in the fridge. The other thing you can do is if your domestic engineer does not want to give up any fridge space to you, excuse me, then go ahead and, I'm not good at this, but if you plan your brew days, so most people are pretty okay with a 2-week ferment, and then at the end of that ferment, the day that you're going to rack that beer off of that yeast, brew another batch of beer that day, and then just transfer that yeast from the first fermenter to the second one. And you can save a ton of money reusing your yeast, just like the breweries do. The other thing you can do, and I need to do this more, is buy your hops in larger packages. So I just looked up a German Magnum, which I use pretty regularly, $1.79 for 1 ounce, and it was like $8.15 for 8 ounces. So it's silly for me not to buy an 8-ounce bag. The homebrew shop doesn't always have one, so it's something I'm going to need to buy online, but those are all ways you can save money if you want to or need to in homebrewing. Now, I do have to tell you, we did a little shopping. We found that craft beer right now in our area for a 6-pack is $9.49 on up. Most were in the $10 range, so that's about $1.66 a beer. And I proved that you can actually brew a good batch of beer more economically. The other thing that I never really looked at until last night when we went out to dinner, but a glass of beer, now that we were not at a craft brewery, we were just at a restaurant, and craft beer was anywhere from $6 a glass to $12. So they were $6, $8, $10, and $12 a glass. I was like, holy cow, that's crazy. But I hope all this information helps. And one more thing I'd like to add is we will be at True Brew on Sunday, December 1st. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be brewing all these configurations: flash brew, liquid malt, dry malt, and all grain. I believe Tyler picked an Irish red ale. So we're going to be brewing all those beers. We're going to leave them in the shop to ferment there, and they will be on tap for you to try. So you'll be able to test out and taste the same beer, just in a different configuration, and then hopefully, I'm hoping, you pick up a kit or two. Thanks a pint for watching.
Please like and subscribe. Thank you.